Good evening and many thanks for joining us here on Rwanda Television. We hope you guys had an amazing week ahead. So now at the top of our edition tonight, these are headlines.
The Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has announced that $550 billion is needed to spend in the development of agriculture in the 16 African countries it is going to work with in the next 5 years.
The Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC, has reiterated that activities of providing mosquito nets and spraying pesticides in homes are aimed at safeguarding the community from malaria, which added to killing thousands of people, affecting kidney, lungs, and brain functioning.
And onto the international scale, the crowning achievement of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II, who died on Thursday after 70 years on the throne, was to maintain the popularity of the monarchy across the decades and the systematic political and social culture change that threatened to make an anachronism. Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa.
And mine is Martina Vera.
How are you, Martina?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Very great. And as we begin of our tonight's edition, let us inform you that on Thursday, September 8th, 2022, His Excellency President Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, chaired a cabinet meeting at Village Urugwiro. The cabinet approved resolutions of previous meeting held on July 29th, 2022. The cabinet reviewed existing health measures regarding COVID-19. All measures remain in effect and will be reviewed after 1 month upon a health assessment. The cabinet was briefed on the following: the agricultural season 2023A, the preparations for the new school year 2022-2023, community access to sports facilities in school. The cabinet approved the following draft laws. Draft law approving ratification of agreement between the government of Rwanda and the government of Grand Duchy of Luxembourg on air services. Draft law approving the ratification of air services agreement between the government of Rwanda and the government of Hungary. Draft law approving ratification of the extradition agreement between the government of Rwanda and the government of Angola. The draft law approving ratification of the agreement of mutual legal assistance in criminal matters between the government of Rwanda and the government of Angola. Draft law approving ratification of the agreement on extradition between the government of Rwanda and the government of Mozambique. Draft law approving ratification of the agreement on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters between the government of Rwanda and the government of Mozambique. Draft law regulating the use of human organ tissues and cells. The cabinet approved the following orders: the Prime Minister's order determining mission, responsibilities and organizational structure of the Ministry of Public Investments and Privatization. Ministerial order granting release on parole. The cabinet approved the following policies and strategies: criminal justice policy, alternative dispute resolution policy, agreement with CCI Rwanda Limited on establishment of a business process outsourcing BPO delivery center in Rwanda. The cabinet approved the agreement for the appointment of the following ambassadors, high commissioners, international organizations, and honorary consul to be accredited to Rwanda. Ambassador Luisa Maria Machado da Palma Fragoso, the ambassador of Portugal to Rwanda with residence in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mr. William Alexander MacDonald, High Commissioner of Barbados to the Republic of Rwanda with residence in Nairobi, Kenya. Mr. Amadou Hassan Mai Dawa, the ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary of Niger to the Republic of Rwanda with residence in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mr. Ibrahim Mohamedou Ahmed Abdullah, the ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the Republic of Rwanda with residence in Tanzania. Representatives of international organization: Ms. Hind Hassan Abdul Galil, country director of the Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS in the Republic of Rwanda. Honorary Consul Dr. Sabira Manzi, Honorary Consul of the Kingdom of Eswatini in the Republic of Rwanda. On the AOBs, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources informed the Cabinet on the ongoing AGRF summit hosted by Rwanda from 6th to 9th September 2022. The Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement informed the Cabinet on the following. Itorero ry'Inkomeza Mihigo scheduled in Humba, Burera District from 5th to 11th September 2022 and the Huye District from 16th to 24th September 2022. Official launch of the Nyanza Chitrikiro Garden of Memorial scheduled 11th September 2022. Research in Action International Symposium scheduled to take place in Rwanda from 11th to 19th September 2022 and in Paris in 2023. The Minister of Trade and Industry informed the Cabinet on the countrywide awareness campaign on the action of Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. This campaign will begin on 9th September and end in February 2023. The Minister of Agriculture informed the Cabinet on the Aviation Africa Summit and Airports Infrastructure, Equipment and Services exhibition scheduled to take place in Kigali from 12th to 13th September 2022. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning informed the Cabinet of the 20th anniversary of the Taxpayer Appreciation Month scheduled for 11th October 2022. Signed Kigali, September 8th, 2022 by Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente. Over to you, Martina.
Now on to matters of the agricultural sector. The Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, also known as AGRA, has announced that $550 billion is needed to spend in the development of agriculture in the 16 African countries it is going to work with in the next 5 years. The leadership of this forum announced this on Thursday as the AGRF 2022 summit continues in Kigali.
The Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has published its new program for the next 5 years, that is, from the next year 2023 to 2027. AGRA President Dr. Agnes Karibata explains the main projects to be undertaken in this 5-year program. One of the priorities in this program will be encouraging the youth to engage in agriculture.
What we are trying to do is to make sure that partnerships becomes our DNA as we go forward. We will end with food. We started with agriculture. We will end with food, recognizing that we really need to focus, like the chair has said, on food systems, not just agriculture. Because we can't do an agriculture that deteriorates the environment. We can't do an agriculture that does not appreciate that the right food is as important as food. It can't just be food. So that's why food system is important, but also you can't do an agriculture that doesn't support SMEs, that doesn't support trade and move our economy forward.
The former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Haile Mariam Desalegn, who is also the AGRA board chair, reiterated that in cooperation with the 16 countries in which this organization works, they hope that this program will bring about tangible changes in the agricultural value chain on the continent. AGRA announces these strategies to develop Africa's agriculture sector in the next 5 years, while the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, says that food crisis is more pressing in Africa than anywhere in the world.
We are keen on transforming African diets to make sure that everyone has access to affordable and nutritionally diverse diets. All this work, of course, comes with a cost. And we are seeking $550 million to fund this strategy. On this note, we would particularly like to thank our partners, our resource partners, and above all, our African partner governments and our smallholder farmers.
According to FAO, in the last year of 2021, about 20% of Africans were suffering from hunger, a situation that is strongly related to the fact that almost 80% of the continent's population did not have full diet as of 2020. Among the things that the continent is required to put first include increasing the budget allocated to the agriculture sector from 3.4% on average for all African countries to at least 10%.
We'll keep it to agriculture matters, specifically to the AGRAF 2022 summit that is ongoing right here in Kigali, Rwanda. Some of the players involved in the value addition of agriculture products urge sponsors and financial institutions to ease access to investment in agriculture because every year $90 billion are needed in the sector, yet only 20% of it is available. Olive Nete has this report.
On the third day of the Africa Green Revolution Forum, various discussions held included financing food systems transformation. The president of the East African Farmers Federation, Elizabeth Simadala, points out that many challenges in agriculture are often a result of the time it takes for farmers to receive loans needed from financial institutions, which are also still few in offering the needed loans to those involved in the agriculture-related activities.
And what I see as a solution to all these, or as a biggest investment that is required, is to build mutual benefiting partnerships. As actors in the agriculture sector, we need to have a holistic approach that it takes us almost a whole year to negotiate and build partnership with banks to be able to offer services to our members. So this is where we feel that AGRF and its partners can take a lead role in terms of, leading us to have these mutual partnerships, because as farmers it is difficult for us to be able to do that.
The CEO of the Development Bank of Rwanda, Kamet Nsainzoga Pichet, and the CEO of the Africa Guarantee Fund, Jules Ngakam, noted that financial institutions will continue to support those in this sector, even though much still needs to be done.
And being able now to make the case, and I think the Ukraine crisis and COVID before made the case, for food security beyond saving lives, beyond the social investment, and actually showing that it is the backbone of everything that we do. Now, for that, I think public finance will be available increasingly in the next 5 years. Whether that public finance will be through the tax base, whether it will be through concessional borrowings, meaning governments borrowing from the likes of IFAD and AFDB and other partners. I think now we've tested the litmus test. We know it must be done. We know we must invest in basic food systems. I think the challenge now is around who is going to pay for the changes that are required for climate change.
Total need today in terms of financing for that sector in Africa, the estimate today is 90 billion every year, but today only 20% is met. So we have 80% of the 90 billion that we need to have, in terms of investment in that sector in Africa, the agricultural sector, the food transformation. So because of the fact that they are informal, they are still struggling to have access, to traditional finance. That's why they tend to go to microfinance, because most of the microfinance institutions sometimes also are informal when you take the case of the SACCOs and all that. So the plan is, how do we support those SMEs in the agribusiness to become formal so that they can have access to the traditional finance at a better cost.
Even though those in the agriculture sector are complaining about the delay in getting financial services, many banks are reluctant to give loans for agriculture investment for fear of the consequences that this sector often has. However, Donna Brown, the Associate Vice President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, notes that government institutions should heavily invest in this sector due to its value to the economic growth of the African countries.
So the challenges in agriculture investment now in Africa is that there is less and less money going to agriculture. There's three sources of investment. The governments in Africa have made big commitments to step up and make their commitments. The second one is international community. With the war in Ukraine, with many competing demands, we're seeing a decrease of international investment in agriculture. We need to turn that round. And the third one is the private sector. In many ways, the driver of investment in agriculture in Africa needs to be the private sector. That is what AGRF is about.
While the world is currently facing various challenges, including climate change and the war in Ukraine, fertilizers which are manufactured in this country are not currently being exported to African countries, which is heavily affecting the agricultural productivity in Africa. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive Nete, for the report. Now, still on matters of the AGRF Forum 2022, participants of the African Green Revolution Forum believe that it is necessary to develop cooperation between Africa and the countries of South America and Asia due to the advanced steps they have taken in the development of agriculture using technology. Jane Mutuni has the report.
I was in Brazil.
Countries including Brazil, India, China, and Vietnam are some of the countries that have proven to be able to get out of poverty in the last 50 years. Participants of the Africa Green Revolution Forum point out that these countries have advanced in agriculture with the use of technology, hence Africa's cooperation with these countries in South America and Asia would be a game changer.
You drive to the eastern Rwanda, you see lots of ponds. That is, we even brought 2 Vietnamese to sit with us in the ministry for some time to develop that narrative. And now we are growing fish on all our lakes based on what we learned from them. The rice industry. Rwanda is not your typical rice growing area, but we do grow rice. And we didn't only acquire the knowledge, but we also have breeds from Vietnam because they had some of the very good breeds that we couldn't have. They also gave us mangoes, some of the best in the world that we didn't have access to. So sharing germplasm and sharing technologies.
Some professional farmers believe that these countries in South America and Asia have set a good example that would make Rwanda and Africa in general develop in agriculture.
When it comes to storing the produce and processing it, we need machines from those countries that are not high maintenance in terms of consuming a lot of electricity. This is why we need more machines from Brazil, such as rice mills. We also need more food processing machines, especially those that process juices, and we need more machines made in China to help us speed up its processing.
Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Barbados, Indarweya, says that while the world is threatened by the effects of climate change, this cooperation would greatly help countries to deal with these effects.
Investment now must be seen based on what climate change has done to the CARICOM region, where we are getting droughts, we're getting climate events that are causing hurricanes and floods, damaging food crops, and putting livestock at risk. And therefore, when you couple that with the lack of fertilizers and supply chains disruptions, the region must now move to the point where we see South-South collaboration as one hope for us to be able to get through the challenges that are facing us.
Number one is infrastructure.
Virtual participants from China say that the trade between Africa and Asia has made a positive step based on the coffee and tea of Rwanda that they are drinking. Hence, they want to establish a common market system that connects the countries in Africa, Asia, and South America.
Thank you very much, Jenny Mutoni, for that report. And when we talk about agriculture, of course, the youth has to come on the top list of who are supposed to take part in it. Now, the youth of Africa are required to take advantage of opportunities in the agriculture sector because this sector has economic potentials that the youth have not realized yet. This is one of the results of the Africa Green Revolution Forum that is being held here in Kigali. We do have more.
The youth is the biggest part of the population of the African continent, as it constitutes about 70% of the entire continent. Even so, the number of young people participating in agricultural activities is still small, which is said to be due to the perception among young people who only want office jobs and parents who feel that a person who goes into agriculture does it as a last resort.
Like for instance, when we speak about agriculture, it's not only about holding what we call a jembe and farming in the soil. There is a lot of opportunity when it comes to exploring the agricultural value chain. Like there is a part of farming, yes, but there is a part of marketing, there is a part we need a lot of innovation and technology, but also there are other parts when it comes to how we package until when it reaches the consumer. So I feel like there is lack of awareness, and still there are so many youth who are still confined in wanting to do the white collar jobs, and which means that those ones want to open the computers and just do the desk job and all that. But I think what the youth of today need is exposure of what type of the opportunities and what are the challenges that we can solve as youth.
Nevertheless, there are some youth who want to invest in this sector of the agriculture, which has many opportunities for young people, but are hit by various obstacles.
Some of the challenges, the biggest challenges, is that we as youth, we are motivated, we know what we want, and we want to scale. But the big problem is that many of the government authorities do not understand what the business languages, if I could say like that. Many decision makers and the policy makers do not really understand the business language. And this is the big issue we are facing.
The president of the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, Dr. Agnes Karibata, says that the youth should be confident and overcome all obstacles that may prevent them from achieving their goals.
Whether it's the challenges you're having as you try to engage as young people, to have jobs, to create businesses, whether it is all the things you're talking about around policy environments, skills, challenges, and all that, you can count on us as a partner. Africa has, I just want to be clear that Africa has no future if its future is not about investing in young people. So we do recognize that with a 70%, 66 to 70% population that is young youth, we really have no other way but to invest in youth. And why do we need to do it? Because if we don't, in 2030, we'll be a poor continent. A continent that is full of young people that are poor, because you will not be young anymore. You'll be adults that are poor, and your children will be poor. Is that really where I want to be? So don't blame nobody. Just try to do what you can do. Let's try to do what we can do.
The participants of the meeting of the Africa Green Revolution Forum, which is being held in Rwanda, found that the youth of Africa have the opportunity to use technology in agriculture to increase production so that the continent of Africa tackles the issue of food insecurity.
The Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC, has reiterated that activities of providing mosquito nets and spraying pesticides in homes are aimed at safeguarding the community from malaria, which added to killing thousands of people, affecting kidneys, lungs, and brain functioning. Nuriat Agasaro has the report.
At the Chimihura sector in the city of Kigali, community health workers are in the process of providing mosquito nets to residents. They took mosquito nets from their plastic bags before giving them out as a way of protecting the environment. Some of those who received mosquito nets says they were in need of them. They gave me 4 mosquito nets because the one I had were damaged. And I'm happy because it will protect me from malaria and mosquito bites.
They gave me 2 mosquito nets. The ones I had were old, but now I'm going to hang them up and take the old ones before going to bed.
Those involved in the process of giving out mosquito nets are community health workers. They say that overall, the project is going well, but they are facing a lot of challenges.
Some people weren't happy with the number of mosquito nets we gave them. So now, we give them based on the number of people in the house, rather than the number of rooms. People argue that we are giving them less, when they have many rooms, even though we counted 1 net for 2 people.
There are
those who we ask the villages they live in, and they find that they don't know them. There are some people who don't appear on the list because they don't know where they live. And there are others who are missing from the list because their villages did not register them.
According to the Rwanda Biomedical Center, more than 7 million mosquito nets will be given in 2022, especially to pregnant women, children to be vaccinated, schools and hospitals. The agents also noted that in this program of providing mosquito nets to the general public is ongoing 18 districts of the country, while in all the 7 districts of the Eastern Province and 5 districts of the Southern Province, indoor residual pesticide spraying is ongoing. Dr. Aimable Mbitiyumuremyi, Division Manager for Malaria and Other Parasitic Diseases Department at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, noted that those mosquito nets that are being given are in two categories because the malaria virus has shown sign of mutation.
We provide mosquito nets with the blue color in the roof in 15 districts. In that special color, there are two chemicals, one from normal mosquitoes and another that makes mosquitoes weak. The mosquitoes have been resistant to the chemicals used in normal mosquito nets. But Nyabihu, Musanze and Burera are very cold places. That's why we don't give them that kind of mosquito nets.
Dr. Mbitiyumuremyi went on to say a lot of effort is being put into preventing malaria in order to keep it from infecting the people or causing death.
People appear unconscious, bubbling, and even paralyzed, giving them impression that they have epilepsy. Others vomit and lose a lot of water, which can lead to death. Malaria causes kidney and lung damage, anemia, and brain damage, as well as low blood sugar levels.
According to RB's statistics, malaria cases decreased by 74% from 4 million in 2018 to 990,000 in 2021. Clinical malaria cases decreased from 7,000 in 2018 to 1,800 in 2021. Malaria killed 260 people in 2018, but only 71 in 2021. Nuria Tagasaro, RwandaTV News.
And on behalf of the entire news production team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on this particular edition of Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa.
And mine, Martina Avera.
And up until next time,
stay safe and have a great night.
Goodbye.